Welcome, Irish fans, to this week's edition of the Jack Swarbrick Show. On today's show, we'll talk with Notre Dame women's soccer midfielder Sandra Yu. And we'll also visit with Notre Dame cross country and track and field associate head coach Matt Sparks. To get you started, here are your hosts, Notre Dame Vice President and Director of Athletics Jack Swarbrick and Notre Dame captain and starting linebacker Joe Schmidt.
I wonder why Swarbrick comes before Schmidt in the introduction. You know, it's
I don't know.
Age, maybe?
I think we need to switch that up.
Yeah. Vice President? Yeah. Vice President? That usually kind of does it.
I don't know. I'm going to talk to some people in here, see if we can get that fixed. Nathan?
You're probably going to be on strike next week.
Yeah, exactly. I'm unionizing with all of my other guests.
Well, good to have you here. Coming off a week that was a little unusual for us, you got some time off during the game.
Yeah, it was. It was still a competitive game. Really until the third quarter. Massachusetts came in here with a great game plan, and they really executed for the better part of the first half. They did. They had a couple drives that really challenged us in some different ways. So hats off to them. They played a great game, but it was good to get out of there for the fourth quarter, get some young guys some reps. It's great to get guys out there on the field and just kind of getting game situations under their belt. So do you transition to Coach Schmidt at that time? Are you trying to help out? I try. I do my best. The problem is, especially when you're a young guy, maybe a freshman, a sophomore, and you go into the game, there are so many things going on. You really feel that those 81,000 people all staring at you, and then you really feel, Coach Van Gorder or Coach Sanford or Denbrock staring at you, and then everything else kind of just goes by the wayside. So your technique might be a little bit shaky, and it doesn't really matter what anyone says to you. You don't exactly hear them. So I do as much coaching as possible, but a lot of the time you just kind of have to hope that they figure it out on their own. Well, give me a little post-game grade on your replacements. We had a couple of young linebackers in there getting a lot of time. Yeah, I thought they did pretty well. It's always tough too at the end of the game because they're really not playing. You work all week towards a game plan, and you're ready to operate within this. The context of that game plan. And then a lot of the time at the end of the game, they start breaking from whatever you think they were going to do. So you haven't exactly prepared for, maybe like last week, they brought in a new quarterback. He was a different player than the first string guy. So you're not exactly ready for whatever he's going to bring to the table. So it's always difficult to come in that situation. I thought the guys that came in did a great job. And we would have, we never like giving up points. Either of our groups, so they were upset about that. But for the most part, there were some really good takeaways, and I think some guys had some really solid learning points that they can take from that game, and really just kind of move forward and hopefully be ready for bigger stages. Yeah, it was great. We had 4 freshmen score in the game, so obviously you like those opportunities to get guys some reps and some times because they're working as hard in practice as everybody else. Yeah, no, it was really great. I mean, even seeing CJ Sanders with that huge 50-yard punt return, that was it was really a changing momentum point in that game. And you look at guys like Josh Adams and Dexter Williams at running back, and the assortment of receivers that came in at the end of the game. It was really great to see offensively all those guys contributing, and then we had all the guys on defense that came in as well. So it was just really good for us to see guys coming in and making plays. You mentioned CJ's punt return. I agree. It really was such a momentum shift. But special teams generally just had a really great game. I mean, Tyler was flipping the field for us. He's had such a good year punting. I thought Jarrett's play on the fake punt was huge. And Yoon obviously was having a great day. So really an outstanding special teams effort. Yeah, and I think that Coach Booker and Coach Kelly and the rest of the staff have really made a point this offseason and this camp to really focus on special teams. And guys are excited to be on special teams. And I don't think that's the overwhelming majority of opinions throughout the country. But really on our team, we love special teams. We love playing on them, and it's like an honor to be on those rosters. So guys really made a ton of plays. They were running around. Jarrett, that was a huge stop on that fourth down. The fake punt attempt. And then you look all across the field and you see guys just always making plays. Tyler Newsome had a tackle on the kickoff inside the 30-yard line, which is pretty much unheard of. Yeah. So guys really care about these teams and they care about making good results for the rest of the roster.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about our punter kickoff guy making tackles inside the 30.
It was hilarious. You're watching the tape and Newsome is dang near in phase with the rest of the kickoff team, and he's just like hair on fire, just like this guy is not returning this ball. So it was really entertaining.
We got to get him on the show. He's one of the more interesting personalities on the team.
Interesting is a great word for Tyler Newsome. We will have to get him in here. It might be a little dangerous, but I think it'll be fun.
So when you don't play all 4 quarters, do we reduce meal money or anything? What do we do?
They should start taking per diem. I don't know. I shouldn't be giving you options here. I feel like I'm just as hungry after the game. No. We still had our chicken fajita surprise after the game, so we still got to eat, but I don't know if I'm comfortable talking about this.
Sunday meals are pretty good after victories.
Oh my gosh, they are the best. We call it a victory meal. It's still training table at the Goog, but we kind of all come together. The TV copy of the game from the previous day is playing, so we're kind of watching all the fun plays. From the game, and all the commercials are cut out, and we eat, filet mignon and lobster and crab legs and, whatever else you might think is tasty with a Sunday bar. And I'm not going to get into the other option on Sundays. Fortunately, we haven't had to deal with that
right.
this season. Yeah. We don't.
We just want victory meals.
Yeah, we just want victory meals, but it is fun to win. Everything is better when you win.
So we've gone from one Schmidt appearing in the Showtime series to now the extended clan.
The clan.
We had nephews in this week. So,
I know. They had their Uncle Joe jerseys on and everything. It was pretty cool.
They all got their Actors Equity card now. They're all set to go.
They're part of the crew. They were so excited about that. And my mom was pretty fired up. It was pretty funny. We've been giving her a hard time, just kind of poking Mom for being on the show a little bit. So I think they all did great, and it was fun having those guys around the tailgate for the day. Yeah,
another really entertaining episode. I hope our listeners and viewers got to see it. Especially liked Coach Sheldon working with his inter-hall football team.
Yeah, those guys are so dang competitive about powder puff football. You would be shocked. It's like they're playing in the game, and they'll spend like an hour, 2 hours after practice, like drawing up plays, making sure they fit schematically, making sure that they're not working at a competitive disadvantage, which seems to be a popular word or words in coaching. So I think that they're doing a great job with those teams, though, and the girls seem to be having a great time. So
it was a great. It added some dimension to what you guys do and how integrated you are into the campus, and I thought that was a great element of it. Big week coming up.
Oh yeah.
One of the great environments in college football. What are your thoughts heading down to South Carolina?
I mean, these are the weeks that you lay in bed as a little kid and you dream of. You're going into an extremely hostile environment. They call it Death Valley. You're playing a team that's incredibly talented. They had a great year last year with a lot of those same guys returning. They've had a wonderful start to their year this year. And there's all this swirl that's kind of going along with this game. It's been really fun. So you have an extra bounce in your step, and you're really excited to get down there and play. And this is really why you play the game. So it's really exciting for me.
In many ways, it feels a lot like the Florida State trip last year.
Yeah.
Does having gone through that help the guys who did it as they head down to Clemson?
I think it does. This team is so much more experienced this year than last. Really, I feel like last year we were a little bit of a young team. And especially towards the end of the year, we got even younger with some injuries. So just having those guys with game experience in a very hostile environment, like Tallahassee, is something that you can really draw on for this weekend. So I'm looking forward to, just getting down there and seeing how guys react. Every game's different, every environment's different, so it's not the same. But definitely there was some learning that can be taken from that game and also some other games from last season. So.
Other than the flea flicker, we can now expect every team we play against to run.
I know, right? Seriously.
What challenges does Clemson present for you?
Well, they've got guys all over I'm a defensive player, obviously, so I think about their offense as soon as you say challenges, and they've got some really, really talented players. Their quarterback was in the Heisman conversation last year as a freshman, and this year he's just as good. Fully recovered from an ACL injury. They've got a very talented running back, a very solid offensive line, and some very dangerous receivers. So you combine that with a scheme that is challenging in and of itself for a defense, and then it just becomes a very fun game for you as a defensive player. I love the challenge, and that's something we're looking forward to. And I think offensively they've got their hands full as well, and that's why we've been working really hard this week in practice to make sure we're ready for Saturday.
Schematically, are they like anyone else that you?
I think you can draw some comparisons. They do some things that maybe we would have seen last year out of maybe a North Carolina team, or some similar things. They're not the same offense. But maybe a little bit similarity here or there, and there's really I think that if you look at their coach, their offensive coordinator, and who he's worked with, I think then maybe you get a better idea. Chad Morris, I think, was the guy that you worked with as well. So.
You and Hurricane Joaquin may arrive at the same time,
which is exciting.
It is exciting. It adds a dimension to it. Does it change anything about preparation or what you think about going to the game? Maybe cleat length, but other than that,
luckily for us, Ryan Grooms and Adam Myers and their staff, they're always prepared for whatever we might encounter. It doesn't matter if it's rain, sleet, or snow, or somehow we have a dust bowl down there. They'll be prepared, so we don't really have to worry about it from the players' perspective. And the one thing I always say about forecasts is that they're pretty much always wrong. So I have no idea what the weather is going to be like. And growing up in Southern California, I loved the rain. So if we get to go run around and slip around in the rain for a couple hours on a Saturday night, that sounds like a great time to me.
Weather forecasts and game forecasts are rarely correct.
Rarely. Hardly ever.
All right, we'll take a break and we'll come right back with our first guest.